Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to my channel one more time. So this video I found to be very interesting, so I decided to share with you. This video, it is talking about the Antichrist, Dajjal. Is he a Muslim according to the biblical belief? So this is what I want to make few comments and talk about the coming of the Mahdi in a second. I will talk about one of the signs of the Mahdi at the end of this video. So inshallah, do not go anywhere. If you are somebody interested in this kind of topics and want to listen from my videos, you can consider subscribing. Let's take a listen at this video first.
Shiite Muslims, for example, believe their savior was once alive but disappeared and will emerge a second time from this well located in a small village in Iran. Sunni Muslims also believe in a savior, but they believe the Mahdi is Muhammad's successor and is yet to come to earth. Author Joel Richardson has written several books on how Islamic beliefs relate to biblical prophecy, and his research suggests that the Mahdi of the Muslims and the Antichrist spoken of in the Bible are the same person. In his book, Mideast Beast, Richardson argues that the Antichrist will come from the Middle East and not from Europe, as has been widely taught by many modern prophecy teachers.
For more on this, author Joel Richardson is now joining us. Well, let's get right in.
Okay, so before I play the video, just to make a few comments, very interesting, which is that they believe, just like we believe in our hadith, that the Jew, Yahudi, and the Nasara, they will follow Antichrist. This is how they flip the script, and they say, no, you guys are the one who will be following the Antichrist, and you guys will be the one who will be deceived. Now, dear brothers and sisters, one thing we have to understand here, if you take a look at all of the important events, whether it is about the universe, how it works, whether it is important day of the week, the Nasara Yahud, they got it all wrong. So for example, for us, the chosen day is Friday. For them, they chose it for themselves Saturday, and the Yahudi, I believe, they chose it for Sunday. Allah Azza wa Jal gave the Ummah of Muhammad the right understanding, the right path, and the right dates, the right events, and He will give us, inshallah, the right person to lead us, which is going to be the Mahdi. Unfortunately, the Christians, they cannot make up their mind. There is no one biblical prophecy in the Bible that actually specifically talks about the event of the Mahdi, how he will come. There is no details about the end of time Mahdi that they talk about. Yes, they do have information about how this is going to be an apocalyptic event. They do have information about how this will likely play out. However, what they do not have is detailed information. So I said in the beginning of this video, I will talk to you about one of the signs of the Mahdi, and that is that, dear brothers and sisters, Rasulullah, he said that before the end of time, ayaman yurfa fiha al-ilmu. He said that the inna bayna yaday sa, close to the sa, when it will take place, ayaman yurfa fiha al-ilmu means ilm, knowledge, وَيَنْزِلُ فِيهَا الْجَهْلُ, and that he said that knowledge will be lifted, يُرْفَعُ الْعِلْمُ, and then يَنْزِلُ فِيهَا الْجَهْلُ means that ignorance will prevail. If you take a look at what these people are claiming, it is completely out of ignorance, and this misinformation is being widespread around the world, especially in Christian countries, where majority of the Christians who talk about the end of time, they believe that Mahdi is the Antichrist, when in reality that is not the true. The problem with their biblical prophecies is obviously they contradict with each other. Sometimes, for example, they will say end of time will take place in this place, the Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, will descend in this place, and other prophecies in the Bible, it talks about, no, this is not the place where Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, will descend, rather he'll be coming from this place. So there is a contradiction even when it comes to the end of time according to the biblical understanding. Nevertheless, they do have very much, they do have a lot of taste, the Nasara and the Yahud, in topics of end of time. So what is that one sign that I mentioned to you will take place? So I already actually said that one particular sign, which is widespread ignorance. ينزل فيها الجهل. This sign has come true by looking at the misinformation or the ignorance of the Nasara and Yahudi they have when it comes to end of time. They're very, very ignorant. They do not have any solid evidence, as I said. And wallahi, believe it or not, I would argue maybe even 95% or more Christian, they do believe in this kind of narrative where it says that, the Mahdi is the Antichrist, and that Dajjal is for them, it is going to be the Masih, who is going to be the guided one. So there is this, contradiction between Islamic understanding of the Mahdi and their understanding of the Mahdi. One very important point you have to understand: they borrowed the idea of Mahdi from Hadith. In Bible, there is nothing called Mahdi. They do believe a man will come, Dajjal, Antichrist. However, there is really no mentioning of the Mahdi in the Bible. How they found out about the Mahdi is through the Quran and Sunnah. And now they're using Quran and Sunnah to really put a face on that name, because they cannot explain, as I said, the Yahud, Nasara, they cannot explain things in details like the Muslims do. And so when they found out, well, the Muslims also are waiting for the Antichrist, and they also talk about Antichrist, and now they're also waiting for the Mahdi. So the Mahdi for them is our Antichrist. So now we found out who is the Antichrist. When in Bible, there is really not much details about the Antichrist. So they borrow information, ideas, concepts from Islam, and put a face on it, saying that this guy, we found him, is the Antichrist. For you guys, he's the Mahdi. For us, he's the enemy. Let's take a listen at this video, because this conversation, this discussion is very, very interesting. Let's take a listen.
So Joel, you say the Mahdi is the Antichrist. Why do you say that?
Well, when you look at Islamic tradition, sacred tradition, as they describe their primary Messiah figure, the Mahdi, there's numerous striking similarities to what the Bible describes with regard to the Antichrist. They believe he'll rule for a period of 7 years. They believe he'll rule specifically from Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. They believe he'll be a religious, military, political leader that will cause Islam to be supreme throughout the world, filled with anti-Semitism, anti-Christ, anti-Christian spirit and doctrine. It's amazing how the two concepts, messianic concepts, really line up in I call it an anti-parallel.
Do you see this sort of gaining traction now in the Muslim world, specifically with ISIS?
Yeah, tremendously. I mean, whether we're talking on the side of Iran, thoroughly apocalyptic.
Okay, so now, as I said, they cannot really reconcile between Iran, Shia Mahdi, Sunni Mahdi, who is the real Mahdi. They have a hard time. So my point here is that they tend to say, well, Iran's Shia Mahdi is the real Mahdi. Okay, the reason for that is because Shia, they're a lot more excited about the coming of Mahdi than the Sunni, I believe. And so they contradict even, they do not have any knowledge. Wallahi, these people, as I said, one of the signs of the hour is that ignorance will prevail. They have no knowledge of what Shia Mahdi is. They call them the 12th Imam, when for us, the Sunni, we reject the 12th Imam coming from Shia as the Mahdi. So telling the whole world this is the Mahdi for the Muslim is something way more complicated, because again, Shia Mahdi, are you talking about the Shia Mahdi or are you talking about the Sunni Mahdi? And so what they conflict, they conflate the whole thing and present to the world a figure, Mahdi, in a very confusing, ambiguous way, to say the least. But wallahi, nevertheless, these people are discussing about this, and they are now saying, well, look, these people, all of these groups, they are bad, therefore Mahdi is bad, therefore end-time Muslim are going to be bad people following the Antichrist. Something very, very interesting discourse I wanted to share with you. If you are new here, consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.